Boxing Lowdown, and I've got a very special guest with me, someone that's making huge noise in the amateur scene right now. Just saw him training in the Hockwell Ring gym. Josh Goodin, how's it going, bro?
Yeah, all good, all good. Yeah, don't come down. I live in Nottingham at the minute, but this is my hometown, Luton Town. Rolled into Hockwell Ring Boxing Club, done some rounds with some of the amateur prospects from there, some strong work. Yeah, just getting me ready for my up and coming fights and preparing those in the gym. So it was nice. It was nice. They always welcome me when I come back down here. So it's lovely coming back down.
Well, let's take it back a little bit, and can you let the viewers know how you got into boxing? Like, who were your biggest influences, and how did you get started?
I got started. I was always into sport, and I did every sport, going from athletics to football. Football was a huge influence for me growing up. I always wanted to box. My mother never ever let me box. She said, "You can box, but you can't box unless if you're under my roof." So as soon as I moved out, I picked up boxing. When I moved to Nottingham as a university student, went to Phoenix Amateur Boxing Club, learned the basics there, but then finished off my degree and then did my master's and took some time out of boxing. But it was just something missing in me. And went back to Nottingham to do my PhD, and it's just the competitive nature. There was the competitive nature that was just urgent to come out of me. So took up boxing again, rang up Errol McDonald at Bad Boys Boxing Gym, which is a local gym in Clifton, Nottingham, and he was one of the most decorated amateurs ever to come out of UK. He won the amateurs undefeated, ABA's undefeated. Went turned pro as an undefeated amateur. Went 24 fights all the way to the European title, undefeated, and now he's my tutor and he's my mentor, and I'm glad he's the coach that I've turned into the amateur that I am now with him, because his style's hit and don't get hit, be elusive. That's it. That's really how I got into boxing. He really nurtured the passion for me of boxing. He made me believe, even though I'm 5'7", 5'8", that I can beat all these bigger guys, even though I weigh quite heavy. I've been fighting at light heavyweight. It's like, you can still outbox these guys. A lot of coaches were saying to me, "You're too small, you have to come down." But he adjusted my style so I could fight as a light heavyweight, and I've been lucky enough to have such a good start to my amateur career.
Would you say your biggest influences then, just for people to watch, like boxers? Would you say, like, I don't know, boxers like Floyd Mayweather, people that employ a lot of movement, like, Billy Joe Saunders or Roy Jones, or is that the type of style that you like to base yourself on, or do you like to just create your own style?
I watch, if I'm being honest, you've got to watch. In terms of boxing, you've got the pro and you've got the amateurs, and if you watch a lot of pro boxing, you're going to adopt a pro style, and that's good if you're turning straight professional. But as an amateur, to win bouts, you have to box differently. It's about point scoring. So to be honest, who I watch the most is Julio La Cruz. He's an 81 kilo boxer, a Cuban boxer. He's phenomenal. Won the Olympics. And he's probably who I'd say I'm most like in the amateurs. For a light heavyweight, he's quite small. I think he's 5'9", 5'10". But in terms of who my biggest influences growing up in terms of boxing, first ever bout I watched was Bernard Hopkins, Jermaine Taylor. Boring for most people, but for me, that was what boxing was about. It was two eloquent boxers, smart boxers, like going to war. But yeah, when I turn pro, I'll be definitely watching a lot of Floyd Mayweather. Like, you've got to watch the best and recreate it. Yeah, Billy Joe as well. Like, Billy Joe is making a lot of noise at the minute.
How did you convince your mum then that you're going to take this seriously and you're going to get into boxing? Because you said that while you're living under her roof, you won't be able to box, but then obviously you went up to Nottingham to do your studying, and then you took up boxing there. So how did you convince her that this is what you wanted to do?
Well, I actually terminated my PhD to concentrate on the boxing, and I know most mothers wouldn't really appreciate that. Um, so it was hard. It's been a process. She come and watched my second bout, and when she realised I didn't get hit at all, she started thinking, okay, he's okay at this. Then after my second bout, I went straight into the East Midlands Box Cup, which is quite a decorated competition. I went all the way to the final and won that. And in the final, she was there to watch, and up against the guy that had 6 fights, 4 knockouts, and I mean, yeah, he was undefeated. We were both undefeated, and I made him miss everything he threw. And I think that's when she started to become a bit more comfortable watching me. When she realised, okay, my son's actually kind of good at this, and he's real. He's serious about this. Like he gives his all to it. So she's taking me a lot more serious now, and she's becoming a lot more proud of it.
Yeah.
And she's really embraced it, which is important for me, because it's hard when your parents don't want you to do something that you're doing, but now she's embracing it, and especially because of my next move, God willing, I'm making movements to represent my mother's place of birth, St Vincent and the Grenadines. So there's been some good movement with that. So she's embracing it, man. She's happy.
That's a good.
She hasn't missed a fight since.
It's a good look. It's a good look. Well, talk to me about your next fight, because it's a big one, isn't it?
Yeah. So I had a little bit of a setback. I took my first loss in the national pre-quarterfinals, and in my heart of hearts, and I know my coach was really disappointed in me, because really I should have breezed the nationals in terms of talent, but boxing is not all about talent. In boxing, there's different elements which I had to learn my biggest lesson, that don't take your talent for granted. You've always got to bring the intensity with it, and not just the intensity in a fight, but your intensity to every training session. So I took my biggest setback, but that taught me my biggest lesson. Like come with it, and come with it correct always. Don't rest on your laurels. So the next fight after that, I was given the opportunity to fight for the East Midlands light heavyweight novice title. I won that, but I was weighing in quite light, and my coach goes to me, oh, like, you're close to middleweight now. After the fight, and said to me, well, why don't you box at middleweight? And I goes, if I box at middleweight, I want to be boxing for the title. Then my club secretary, the brains behind the club, my coaches, Mrs. Janet Vitti, yeah, she said to me, okay, well, fight for the middleweight title as well, and you'll be the first ever to win the Midlands title in 2 weight divisions. So that's my next move, March the 10th, East Midlands middleweight title, and I just wanna push myself and bring that home.
I'll be there for sure, man. What was I going to say? Can you, like, you know, providing you get through this test on in March, like, do you have a schedule for, you know, like your upcoming fights for the year? Like, do you have an idea, like, when you're looking to turn pro, or are you still looking to just create a bit of waves in the amateur scene first and then worry about that a bit later?
Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky enough to be at an amateur club that is so well run, and I'm so proud to be a part of Bad Boys Boxing Gym. I don't want to give too much away, but I know for the rest of the season I'm going to be boxing in a lot of cup competitions, because what a lot of people do in the amateurs, they fight on just their home shows, they have a lot of learning fights. I want my learning fights to be competitive, so I want to fight for the East Midlands middleweight title, maybe defend that, God willing, a couple of times, win that outright, and then fighting all the cups coming up. So we've got the Haringey Cup, was a big international event. Then there's the East Midlands Box Cup that I want to defend. Then there's cups in Ireland, the Milwaukee Cup, I believe it's called, and international cups in Sweden called Angud and King of the Ring. And then other cups in Portugal. Then in November is the novice nationals again, which I will be going into, and hopefully that puts me in great position to have a number of options. But for right now, representing St Vincent is what I want to do. For a small island, it would mean a lot. And I actually said it when I first ever met my now girlfriend. I said to her, I said, I want to represent. She said, asked me, what is my goal in boxing? I said, I want to represent St Vincent in the games. Because St Vincent hasn't had a representative since Frankie Lucas in the 1970s.
Wow.
And he went and won gold in the Commonwealth Games. And I want to be able to not just mimic that, but God willing, better that. And it's just turned out that this could be at middleweight as well. So,
Wow.
so yeah.